Now, I love public journalism, and I think you should always prioritize it over a paid journalist, for example, or anybody who could have an agenda. I also love the fact that there are more spaces for honest discussions, without propagandists being actively involved in the discussion. But sadly, propagandists have adapted to this new reality.
I'm gonna start getting upset because the country's falling apart. So I'm not gonna watch any more videos about propaganda because the stuff I already know. I'm also gonna rant to myself for 5 minutes about how this country is falling apart. All right. So are you ready? Corporations can buy and sell news networks. Fox has publicly admitted in court it is not a news network. That's right. In a court of law, they had to say they're not a news network because they made up so much bullshit they got sued over it. And then they had to say, well, I guess we'll say we're not a news network, even though they say they're a news network. It's called Fox News. Now it's just called Fox. Because they're not a news network. Because they don't produce news. Everything is produced by a corporation, given to you, and you are expected to eat it. Nom 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 nom, so you know what's going on in the world. Did you know that there were public, very public protests all over the world about Trump? I never heard that on any news network. Because nobody ever told you. Because you're not supposed to know. Because Trump is supposed to be, yay, let's go Trump. I love Trump. Oh boy. Can't wait for him to fix the economy by doing the exact opposite of what economists say to do. What? We're in a recession now? No! Well, there's a recession coming, so they say. No recession has happened yet. Yet. The economy is looking okay. However, there is a millennial who likes to launch rockets into space and make pieces of shit for cars. Like he is Matilda's fucking father, Mr. Wormwood, and glue panels on. He controls a part of the government. A whole section of the government is controlled by a guy who wanted to make it a meme. That's right, he named the government part that he runs after a dog meme from 2016. A picture of a dog called Doge that millennials loved. That's right, he named a part of the government after it. And then he went into all the parts of the government he doesn't like and fired everybody. And there was no overview. And that's it. That's all she wrote. The entire Consumer Protection Bureau was fired because of his Matilda Wormwood cars that he glues panels onto that are not built for this world when he claimed they were built for Mars. Just because they don't rust, but they do everything else. This car will rust one day, but it won't fall the fuck apart. You can't pull a piece of the car off except for the windshield wiper. And that car has one huge windshield wiper. And there are still people buying these $100,000 cars because they meat ride this man like they were born there and they will die there. No matter what he does, no matter what he says, he will be meat ridden by these people. Because they believe everything they say, everything Mr. Elon does. He will get us to Mars one day. Hashtag colonize Mars. Our planet is falling apart, and we're trying to leave? Motherfucker, we were born here! That's the point of a hometown. You take care of where you live. It's a home planet. We ain't going to Mars. They're going to Mars. You're stuck here. Unless you have $20 billion like this man, the richest man in the world, unless you have that much money, you're not going anywhere. You're staying right here, bitch. With your $100,000 car that's falling apart. People bought those cars, and they fell apart on the first day. They were undrivable because there was some issue with them. Well, the battery's defective. Oh, well, you can't drive it. Oh, you have it plugged in? You can't drive away. You're stuck. Oh, look, a horse. Horse on the beach. Oh, my gosh, multiple horses at the beach. In the water. Oh, my gosh. His cars fall apart. He claims they were built for this world and then you built for the next. And I don't mean heaven. He's the type of guy to invent the world's smallest camel and the world's largest needle so he can go to heaven. Instead of being a good person, he'll find a way through. As long as you can pass a camel through the eye of the needle. That's what God said in his Bible. So, naturally, I genetically engineered the world's smallest camel. Like, dude! What the fuck? This country is falling apart. It's not obvious on purpose. It's so hidden. It's obvious to me, because I'm a smart person, obviously. No, it's not obvious to everybody. Because not everybody took a civics class in high school and learned about the court cases that allow corporations to be people. Something you can form for a couple $100 allows you to be a second person. They wanted to give these corporations voting rights. The people with all the money wanted to give the corporations voting rights so they can get more votes. You shouldn't have Our president is a felon! He cannot purchase a gun! But he can be the president of the United States, our commander-in-chief, commander of our whole army, commander of all our nukes. Every single one. All our nukes. They say I'm the best man with all the nukes, and I am the best. He has all the nukes. He can launch nukes at any time, at anyone, for any reason. There is a man that walks around with him that has a briefcase buckled onto him, handcuffed onto him. This briefcase is openable by our president, the felon, our president who invaded the Capitol when he didn't get his way, our president, the convicted felon, our president, the bankrupt convicted felon, by the way. He declared bankruptcy because he had no money because he lied on all his books. Our impeached, bankrupt felon of a president that can't purchase a gun, can't vote for himself. Why is he the president? Why? He makes shit coins and rug pulls them. Also, a felony. And you know why Elon got a whole section of the government for himself? He got to form his own section. Because he gave the president money so he could get elected. He gave him, what was it, $1.29 billion? How much did he, I don't know. Oh, look at me. So he gets a section of the government to himself. Obviously. Why hadn't I thought of that? If I had $2 billion, I would also want a section of the government that I get to run. And have a car company that I took over from somebody else. And have a rocket company that explodes. And have a mining company that only got to be in California when people still thought he was liberal. Until this trans kid came out as trans and was like, nah, fuck liberals. I hate those motherfuckers. Alright? They made my kid gay. My kid, who I named Shrek, or whatever, ZAE 12. I don't know. Because there's no limitation on what you can name your kids. That's not much of an issue. Free speech. Free speech for me. He bought an entire platform so he could win this election. The loan that he got has been declared by the loan givers as one of the worst loans they have ever given out. The valuation of that company was divided by 3. Was more than halved. It went from $75 billion to $29 billion. That's how much he bought it for, by the way. Because he has no real cash, he just has companies. Because no rich person actually has cash. Except for owner of Amazon, who just takes out bigger and bigger loans. We're not even talking about that guy. who intentionally kills employees. No. No. And for what? For what? So he can have power? So we can give some man-child some power? No car missing a bumper. It's crazy. I mean, it hurts. It hurts me. Why is this man in a position of power? Who gave him this? And for what? For what? For what it's worth. If it was gonna kill your boy, it would have by now. For what? Why? So he could take apart the government? Because he gave you some money? None of his ideas have ever worked. The only one that didn't hurt people was his flamethrower. It was one of his first products. Before anybody had heard about him. They heard about his flamethrower and his hat. Whoa, this guy is selling flamethrowers? That's so cool. You can still buy those, I think. No idea why you would. You could just get a whole car that lasts 10 years max. There are cars. The first ever car, the Model T, still runs to this day on the road. You will still find them. Parts replaced, shell replaced. Maybe it's a ship of Theseus. But you know what? They still work. You can still put gas in them and they still go. Maybe 20 or 30 miles an hour, but they still go. You won't see a Tesla running for more than 10 years. And that's the longest they'll last. Because once that battery gives out, it just gets recycled and it's gone. They don't give you a new one. It's cheaper to buy a new one, guys. Trust me. It's cheaper to buy a new one. I'm not even talking about planned failure. Phones, laptops, everything. The first fridges still run. You can't find parts for them anymore. Because all the original ones are gone. They still run. The first ever fridges, they don't run very electrically efficient. There are more efficient ones these days. But they will last you 5, 8 years max. Fridge. You know what a fridge does? These days it does 3 or 4 things. But it is the most simple piece of technology you can ever find. It's a compressor that puts in cold and takes out hot. It's so unbelievably simple. How could it fail after 5 to 8 years? Why? The first ones, 40 years, 80 years, still running. Because all it is a compressor and some coils. That's it. That's all. It's a fridge. It does what it's supposed to. That's it. Laptops? The original laptops? Okay, well, actually, no, laptops are shit. Because they use a battery. And then they have the varying voltage. The original computers still run. You find the original Mac, it'll still run. You plug it in, fine. Unless it blew the capacitor. Because these things have planned failure. iPhones have planned failure. The only iPhone that should have stopped working by now is the 6. Okay? I understand maybe the tech gets a little too old or too new. I've installed Windows 10 on computers older than me, and iPhone should be able to run after 3 years. My phone slows down. You know how old it is? 5 years old. It's refurbished. Shouldn't be failing. It's a phone. And you know why it is? And they've been sued over this. And it's been shown that these phones have planned failure, planned incompetency. So you buy a new one for $1,000. The phone with no new features since 2011. Nothing exciting. And they're trying to get you excited. Oh, this phone can generate emojis. But you need to buy the new one, guys. The old ones can't do it. The old ones can't generate a fucking photo. The last thing people were excited for was Face Unlock. iPhone 10. Almost 10 years ago. What do we got, the 16 now? 6 years ago, because they release a new phone every year. Not that they get any better or worse. You can't make a camera that small much better without inventing something new, and they haven't. They've just added more. It's not exciting. It's nothing new. Actually, that new glue was pretty cool. I did like that new glue. Instead of heating it, you laser it. That was pretty cool. Of course, you have to buy special repair tech for it. You have to buy the laser. And, well, those are $1,200. So it was really just so shops couldn't repair stuff. So more money goes to Apple. And it'll all come crashing down eventually. Because planned failure isn't a long-term solution. They make a short-term problem to make short-term money. If you make something last longer, more people will want it. And apparently that's something companies don't understand ever since airlines started finding ways to slash costs. Well, since jet fuel is really expensive, we should just make everything worse. People have to fly anyway. Fun fact, bozo, no they don't. People don't have to do anything. They want to. And when you make people not want something, why would they buy it? Why would they do that? I don't want this phone. It's just going to fail in 5 years. But a Samsung will last me 10 years. It'll have a bloated battery, blown capacitors, it'll still function. Because they're the Toyota of phones. I bet a Google phone wouldn't do that. But an Apple phone. Planned failure. They got sued over it, they were told to stop, they did it anyway. They kept doing it. My phone will be failing soon. My mother's phone is having the exact same problems as mine. And it's because planned obsolescence, that's what it's called. I totally forgot, that's my bad. Planned obsolescence. Your phone is supposed to fail. Because when it does fail, they get more money. Because you're going to buy a new one. Everybody wants the latest Apple product. I mean, that's how they get some of their money. Rich people want the latest thing. And it's not a long-term solution. You don't make any long-term profit. Offering a lifetime warranty gets you more money over time. Because you have more loyal customers. Sears has a whole building because they offered lifetime warranties on everything they had. That's old. Unfortunate, really. You can buy an old. You could have in the past. Now they don't do it because of resellers. Once again, short-term money. Resellers. I fucking hate resellers. Despise resellers. They go to Goodwills and places where people donate things. For poor people! Goodwills are for the disadvantaged. Not for people who get stuff from Goodwill and sell it on eBay. I have sold 0 things from Goodwill on eBay. I've sold my own stuff that I find because somebody threw it away. Because somebody wanted it to go to the trash. And even then, I sold it at a markdown. $200 banjo, $100. Sold it to some guy who had never played banjo before. Because I didn't want it. But some guy would have thrown it away otherwise. So now somebody has a banjo for half the price of a new one. It was in perfect condition. It still had the sticker from the manufacturer on it with the SKU. For what? Short-term money. That's what they want. They want money while they're here. Not while the future generations are here. Isn't humanity about making prosperity for the next generation? Isn't that the point? Not short-term power. Not short-term gains. Long-term. Actually getting us to Mars. Sustainably. But also having our original planet. Not some dystopian nightmare. Because believe it or not, we live in a dystopian nightmare. I have to drive an hour to get to work. My companions may never own a house because of private equity. Because subscriptions are becoming more popular than owning something. And you know why? Short-term money. Short-term. And then companies will find out eventually. Not today, not tomorrow, not in this next year. But they will find out. Companies aren't people. Companies aren't alive like they want them to be, like they want them to have votes and other systems for them to make money. No. Companies can't live. They don't breathe. They're in a state that are to be passed on. Like the future of humanity is to be passed on to our next generation, to the following one. That is what we have been doing. Defending ideals as a country for years. Almost 200 at this point. This country is almost 200 years old. Originally, we fought the largest colonizer in the world, who has colonized almost every place on this planet, England. If you look up a map, that is just how many colonies did England have, you will find almost every country on this planet has at one point been invaded by England. Power manifested. Resources exploited by England. We broke free of that because they taxed us too much, and we were mad about it. You know what they taxed us on? Shit they needed after a war with France. Because they were broke as fuck. Because France just got their independence. And you know what we did? We're like, fuck that. We don't want a 2% tax on tea, on paper, and coffee. Coffee wasn't around yet. It's coming soon, though. We don't want that. So what we did, we threw millions of dollars worth of tea into the harbor. And England was like, okay, guys, that was really not cool. We're going to post a few more soldiers around here. Make sure you don't throw millions of dollars worth of tea into the harbor again. Because back then, tea came in bricks. It didn't come in leaves. And these bricks were used multiple times, over and over. Each brick was worth $10 then. It's like $200 today. Don't fact check that. Bricks of tea. We threw millions of dollars of it into the harbor over a tax. And England went, okay, that wasn't cool, guys. So then we said, we want to be independent. And we started tar and feathering tax people. They weren't armed. They just started doing their jobs. You know what we did? We burned them fucking alive and then put feathers on them and laughed. Tar hurts. And then it crackles and sticks to you. Have you ever been hit with tar? I haven't. I've looked it up. I was curious. Tar all over you. God, that's gotta hurt. Over taxes. We broke free. And then our buddies France, who had just gained their independence as well, we were like, yo, I know you're broke. Hit me up, though. We ain't broke. We got all the land we want. And we were just getting started. 13 colonies. Not Florida. No. I love you, Florida. Florida. Flower. I mean, it's crazy now, but Florida. I love you. It's always hot as fuck. But you're still the same to me. We broke free. We gained our independence. Because we didn't like taxes. Now we're taxed on every fucking thing imaginable. And everything is marked up. Our country has become dependent on its corporations. Why? Why have we grown this dependence? Our corporations that want to squeeze every dollar out of us, making iron triangles out of everything they can. They make their own department in the country. They start a war. When I said start a war, did you think of 9/11 and us invading Iraq? Because I did. I thought immediately of how our government created a problem and solved it. Just like many companies today with solutionism. You have a screen in your fridge, the one that lasts 5 to 8 years. Why do you have a screen in your fridge? I don't know. For the love of me, for the love of God, I could never figure out why somebody would want a screen in their fridge. You want a grocery list? You want to know when you have to refill on groceries? The screen doesn't need to tell you. That's what I have a brain for. I know when I need new groceries because I can look in my fridge with my eyes and see that I need groceries. I don't need a screen to tell me. I don't need to be able to see into my fridge with a window. I can open the fridge and see what's inside. If I'm at my fridge, I don't need a window because I'm going into my fridge. Same fridge that lasts 5 to 8 years, by the way. Why do I need that? $2,000 for this fridge, by the way. That's on the low end. $2,000 to $5,000 for a fridge. You could go to a junkyard, get a compressor, and build a box out of plastic and fiberglass. Would do the same thing. Probably for $50. It's probably how much they make them for. Plus the screens, by the way, all Chinese. No American labor goes into those. People hate that there's immigrants in our country taking our jobs. All our jobs have been moved overseas. There's no jobs here. Your job is to sit at a computer and put in numbers. That's what your job is. That's what you do all day. You know what I do all day? I dip donuts. I wake up at 5 in the morning. So I can eat a slab of ramen. That cost me 35 cents because I hate spending money on anything that's overinflated. A cup of macaroni, $2, by the way. How do they do that? It's cheese powder, salt, and pasta. $2. How is that worth that much? It's not. The answer is it's not. It's not worth $2. But what? Huh? Why is this $2? I don't know. The microwavable ones, by the way, not the boxes. The boxes are also the same price for a third. Or the cup is a third of the box. Dry macaroni. You can make the same macaroni with a press that costs you $30 and flour and water and an egg yolk if you're feeling fancy. That's what they make that out of. That costs you cents. It'll take you 20 minutes maybe, and it'll taste much better, I guarantee you. It just won't be dry. It's beside the point. Why? Why is everything so expensive? We fought a war because tea was too expensive. Our favorite thing. We fought a war because paper was too expensive. Killed a bunch of dudes while drumming. On to the land of what's the song? The swamp song with the alligators. We fought wars because somebody had bad ideals and then they bombed us. That was an actual war, not the Iraq War. World War II. The Japanese were being fascist, and we didn't like it, but we didn't get involved. All right, the other countries were starting to lose, but we didn't get involved because the League of Nations never arose. Thanks, by the way. Fuck that president. I can't remember his name, but fuck you, bro. You did all the work to put it together and then didn't join? You a bitch! League of Nations could have saved us. Now we got the UN. You know what the UN does? Jack fucking shit. Ukraine isn't even in the UN. As far as I'm aware. Last I heard. They didn't get it. Because if Ukraine was in, then all the other countries nearby would actually help Ukraine. The people that are currently being annexed. Or at least they're trying. They're not doing very well. Timu drone with bomb on stick is doing better than the entire Russian army. They sent Koreans, North Koreans over there, who hadn't been retrained since World War II, since Vietnam. They were still fighting with the same tactics. Modern age. Those guys hid in trees and in the ground with a gun. And they stayed in the forest for 50 fucking years. Because one guy didn't even know that the war had ended. And when they told him, he was like, no, that can't be. Japan? We would never lose. We're the best. We kill ourselves just to win. Oh boy, did we have two big answers for that one. Why? Why is my macaroni $2? This isn't even $2. This box, mango juice, $1.25. Best fucking mango juice you will ever have. Not an ad. Great fucking mango juice. I love that shit. I wish I could find it more. It's so good. World War II. Once again. We fought because we didn't like their ideas. We said those will bring the end of our world as we know it. Fascism, communism, they're bad. Communism isn't necessarily bad, it just doesn't work. Because once you pay everybody the same, even if they're doing better or worse work, they're not going to want to do stuff anymore. Also, it creates an inherent lack of competition. And some competition is good. That's why socialism does work. I know you don't like a 45% tax, and you want to be rich as fuck. So he could get a department. He bought an entire social media platform so he could get a part of the government. I guarantee that was planned out. 100 years later. You tell me. That wasn't planned out? When somebody finally finds a document that says it was planned out, or wasn't, I will kill myself. But I'm already dead, so it doesn't matter. Huh? You can buy and sell parts of the government now. It's crazy. World War II. Americans fought for a reason, for a purpose. To stop fascism, to stop communism. Once again, not necessarily a terrible ideal. Just doesn't work. Didn't work because of the lack of technology they had. Because of the lack of the, poor people. See, poor people will do anything for money. Because they're poor. Because they need the money in order to get by, to support their families, to support themselves. Usually to support their families. They need the money. That's why they're willing to work shit conditions for shit hours and not unionize. Because they need the money. If you go on strike, you're not making any money. And the giant mega billionaire that you're going on strike for is not losing anything. He can hold out for the rest of his life. If you made $1 million every single day since the birth of Jesus, you would not be as rich as Elon Musk, as Jeff Bezos, as the CEO of Twitter. I can't remember his name. Zuckerberg. Zucker Lizard. That guy's weird. I don't like that guy. Gives me the shivers. You would, if you made $100,000 since the conception of the universe 46 billion years ago, you would not be as rich as them. $100,000 every single day. Before the word day was a thing. Before there were days. Because there was no planets. There was no suns. No stars. No moons. No nothing. Gas. Very, very hot gas floating around. $100,000. Concept of money hasn't even been invented yet. But you're there. You're on Earth. Not there yet. $100,000 in your bank account. Fidelity. Whatever. I don't know what you have. You wouldn't have as much as they do. That's how much money they have. That you don't. So you're telling me socialism is the issue? A 45% tax? No, we love capitalism. Because I get to work for myself. I get to pull myself up by my bootstraps. What if there are no bootstraps? Your bootstraps are gone! You have no boots on your feet! I've heard a very good explanation of how poor people stay in poverty. And it's about boots, actually. Can't remember who it was by. But I'm going to paraphrase here. Johnny, our conceptual poor person, has two options for boots. He has the good boots. That cost him $200. These boots will last him the next, 2 years. Good pair of boots. He's a hard-working man. But he only makes $45 a month. He can't afford these boots. But the shit boots that are made of cardboard that'll fall apart within this year, they cost him just a month's worth of money. Now these boots, they won't work for very long, but they'll work for just enough time that he can buy a new pair once they fall apart. He'll still wear these boots till he can feel the floor beneath him, mud caked between his toes, because he can't afford the nice boots, because they are $200, which is, basic math, 6 months worth of income. He can't afford that. Will fall apart because he can't buy the good stuff to save more money over time. This is what I mean by you don't have bootstraps. In 6 months of income, you'll have spent it all on subscriptions like rent, because we're in a rent-based economy. You rent everything you own because you don't own anything anymore. There's nothing to own. Private equity has bought it all out. It didn't make $1 this year. It lost. A company will lose a single dollar that's owned by a private equity firm. Private equity will say, okay, we're taking you apart, we're stripping you for pieces, we're selling you. Hooters is gone now. They're closing. Because your phone can give you the same entertainment that a dad with a beer and his son could give you. Piss me the fuck off. Anyway, that's all she wrote.